Snow geese can live, 20, even close to 30 years old. But what we look for, just telling whether the bird was hatched this previous nesting season. Like here's a good example of a juvie, a young hatchier snow goose. It hasn't molted.
Yeah, you see a lot of gray through
all
here.
of its gray feathers, and so they'll have all these gray feathers in them until they go through complete molt cycles and get the pure white coloration.
So we can differentiate these two and say for sure this is a probably hatched last spring juvenile bird because of the gray. This is a mature bird that could be anywhere from 3 to 20 plus years old.
Yep.
All right. Now, a lot of people would say this was a snow goose also, but tell me a little bit about this little bird.
Very similar bird. It's actually the Ross goose. Smaller in size, but in the air, they look the same. The black wingtips, pure white, but physically smaller bird. Another thing to look at is the beak. The bill, you can see is proportionally smaller. With the snow goose, you look for this grin patch they call this black kind of grin patch. With the Ross goose,
just a little thin black line.
Yep,
you don't really have that.
Yep. So that's one way to tell them apart too, besides just physical size. But when they're in the air, they can be hard to tell the difference. The blue goose, same species as the snow goose, just a different color phase. A lot of people nickname a mature blue goose an eagle head just because they have this pure white head, and a bluish body. This one here is a juvenile blue goose. It doesn't have that white head. Still got a lot of gray feathers in them.
And that's why it's so hard to kill these eagle heads, because this is a bird that's been around for a while, and he's going to be a little bit more difficult to fool.
Yep, he's well educated and probably been shot at numerous times.
One last question for you. Now, these blue geese, this is the same species of bird. It's a different color phase.
Yep.
But it's not a phase that changes. This will be a blue goose its entire life.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Correct.
He'll never be fully white.
Correct. Yep.